Good evening, iRacers. Welcome to BSR Radical Thursday from Apex Racing TV. As normal, Lee Thompson here, joined by Alex Simpson on cameras and commentary. We are at the glorious Interlagos circuit. What a classic F1 Grand Prix track that we're at tonight. And I reckon, apart from the odd curb here and there, it's going to be a fun track for these guys to have to negotiate in the Radicals, Alex.
Yep, hello everyone. Good to be back as always. I am really looking forward to this one. Like you say, fantastic, iconic circuit, known for the F1 racing. I had a lot of fun last night in the F3 Championship, and yeah, it's just made for good racing. Very similar car in the sense, fair amount of downforce, good bit of power and things like that. Some tight, twisty sections in there. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race for sure. I'm really looking forward to see basically if there's any sort of surprise people towards the front, because it is a circuit where, if you know it well and you love it, you can really excel there. So yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It can be a bit of a specialist track. That infield section has got like a couple of quirks to it, really. And if you can, if you're the sort of guy that's got it hooked up through there, then all you need is the tow to carry around the rest of the lap, and as you say, you can be punching above your weight slightly, maybe. Well, qualifying is just wrapping up, so we shall find out very shortly the confirmed grid for race 1 of the night. Remember, we've got 3 races for the evening, and race 2, race 3 are both going to have reverse grids, so that is going to spice things up for sure. This first race is going to be a classic shootout from those who succeeded in qualifying and those who maybe didn't quite get a lap in. They had 15 minutes to get a lap in, and it's not the longest circuit in the world. We're looking at under 1 minute 30 laps, so hopefully everyone managed to get a representative time in. And so last cars are just finishing up their qualifying laps now. So Paul Crabb still showing on circuit, Kip Stevens still showing on circuit, but the session should be able to move on any time soon. And then, as I say, we will look at that qualifying grid. 20-minute races this evening. So that's going to give the guys, 15, 16 laps, I guess, through the race to work their way through the field. I mean, it's going to be interesting how much tow they get on the long start-finish straight. It's going to be quite a slipstream effect, I think, in these cars, running all the way out from the end of turn 12 all the way back to turn 1. And I wonder who is going to be able to make the most of that as we're going through. Right, so let's look at the grid results. Kane Halliburton is going to be starting from pole position. So one of our championship challengers, looking pretty strong. Yeah, pole position. Dan Webster's going to be lining up alongside him in second, with Slen Gatzel in third. Nicole Foggy in fourth, with Richard Warmingham in fifth. Paul Crabb in sixth, with Craig Williams in seventh. Jamie Mayers in eighth. Luke Cooper in ninth. Sam Fitzpatrick down in 10th. So he's our current championship leader based on countback. So not a great qualifying for Sam there. Kip Stevens in 11th. Eamon Macaulay in 12th. James McRitchie in 13th. Steve Hefford 14th. Fraser Williamson in 15th. Alan McCain 16th, Anthony Jacobson 17th, and Lorne Murray 18th. I hear the revs building away. No, not yet. We're still waiting for a couple of cars to get onto the grid. Yep, so no mad panic quite as of yet.
You did mention Fitzpatrick in the lead of the championship with the 2 drop weeks. It's Foggy, then Johnny Brandon, Halliburton and Williams is the top 5, just to give guys a bit of an update on championship standing.
Yeah, and with the we've only got, so these 18 runners for hardcore tonight on Valentine's evening who are able to come to the race. Right, Revs are building for real this time. Kane Halliburton on the outside. Dan Webster's going to be inside to turn 1. Kane Halliburton covers him off straight away. That allows Glatzel to have a look around the outside of Webster as well. Kane Halliburton's got the inside covered. Glatzel's going to try and sweep around both of them. Those 3 wide as they go into turn 1. Looking tricky as they go through turn 2 there. Do they survive? Glatzel coming out ahead.
No. Glatzel around. Just the merest of touches. That's all it was. It just flung him off the circuit. And yeah, poor Glatzel down 15 places. Right at the back of the pack now. But into turn 4 they go. 3 wide in the pack. Everyone through there, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, they looked like they were going to survive at the start, but Foggy's the one who managed to take advantage, leading the pack into the infield now. Kane Halliburton in 2nd, Webster 3rd, Paul Crabb 4th, Richard Warmingham in 5th, Craig Williams in 6th, Luke Cooper 7th, Sam Fitzpatrick 8th, Mayers 9th, and Eamon McCauley 10th as car goes way over the inside curve trying to avoid contact.
I think it was
there
Warmingham
on the first hairpin. Yeah, did well to avoid it. He's going to lose a spot, so is it Fitzpatrick coming through behind, and Warmingham must have a slowdown there. He's able to let a few cars by.
Yeah, it was Luke Cooper that came straight past, but actually Fitzpatrick's now got past his Apex Academy teammate, so goes through. The 2 Craig Setup Shops cars are behind as well. So yeah, like you say, fantastic start from Foggy, up 3 places, and yeah, there he is as we're up in the blimp cam right now, and got himself a 1 second lead. So yeah, that's the kind of buffer that I like to have, Lee. When I feel comfortable, when I've got that 1 second, I can start to look forward, focus on my lines, my apexes, and make sure I can push on and try and build that gap. When it's much less than that, I'm always tend to focused on that relative, see what's going on. Are they catching me up? Do I need to be careful? Do I need to watch? Are they going to dive? But yeah, perfect start for Foggy. Settle in and try and push on.
That's it, as you say, opportunity for him to try and bang in the laps now. Webster very quickly straight onto the back of Halliburton, now challenging for that 2nd position. So we'll see as they come through the infield whether he can do anything more. But yeah, he's closed pretty well just through the start, finished straight initially. He's got a little bit of damage on the back of the car though, so can he carry on and survive with that damage? Is it causing any handling problems? Well, it doesn't look like it so far. Luke Cooper down there in 7th, coming under pressure from Jamie Mayers through the infield section, and he's not far behind Williamson either. So nice little battle here from 6th down to 10th, with Kip Stevens at the bottom of that 10th. And in fact, Cooper well and truly under pressure now from Mayers, trying to go around the outside as they loop back towards turn 12 and the big run up to the start-finish line. Cooper might be a little bit in trouble. He's going to be drifting off the back of Williamson. He's not going to get as much of a toe as Cooper. And Cooper got a good drive off as well. Or Mayers, sorry, got a good drive off. So here they come and past the pit lane entry. Luke Cooper's going to have to defend hard. Here comes Mayers. Cooper's got a little bit of slipstream initially from the car ahead, but now Mayers has got that. Cooper hanging to the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact. And spin for Cooper. Anyone going to get caught up? They don't. He pirouettes, beautiful 360 with the tag into the wall. Might have a little bit of damage, we'll see. But that was unfortunate. It just looked like the briefest of touches between those guys, and Cooper just lost it mid to entry.
Yeah, exactly. That hence my little reaction to the oh wow, because I just couldn't believe that the car would spin the way it did as well. It was pretty vicious into the wall. You're right. He has got a bit of damage on the front corner there as well. So maybe affecting him. Straight line speed. Yeah, McRitchie straight through.
Yeah, drive straight past him as they head into turn 7. So yeah, Cooper I think will be struggling now for the rest of the race. It's going to be damage limitation for him. Quite unfortunate, as you say. Back at the front, still very close between Halliburton and Webster. In fact, no, it's built just a little bit. That's more like a second now. So Halliburton looks like he's got that under control. And then, yeah, this battle here really is where the action's at 6th, 7th, 8th for now. And we'll see how much further forward Mayers can keep moving through now that you've got that spot on Cooper.
Quick reminder to everybody, we are streaming live on... sorry, just seen that the sound is delayed again, Lee. We're having this problem every week, and I don't know what it is, and we even switched streaming platforms to try and sort that out as well. So Yeah, not great. I'll see what I can do about that in a second. Thank you, Marco, for pointing it out. But yeah, we are streaming live on Twitch as well as Facebook and YouTube. So I'll drop the links in the chat in a moment, as well as the live timing page link as well for you to catch up on that action.
Yeah, so now we're looking at the battle for the back of the top 10. Stevens 9th down to McRitchie, warming him under more pressure now from a recovering collapse. We'll say unfortunate in the opening lap to lose that challenge lead and have to drop back. And then Cooper's going to continue to fall off the back of that. So it's really going to be 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th that's about here. And warming him really looks like the car under a big amount of pressure as they swing into turn 8. Warming him very, very deep in, almost runs into the back of McRitchie ahead. And that's going to allow Glatzel to have a little bit of a sniff into turn 10. You can have a little bit of a cheeky dive up here, but maybe Glatzel's not quite close enough, but really gets right into the gearbox and the brakes nonetheless. A fantastic circuit this. I see him go through the infield. I forget how much you can get it hooked up. If you've got the car underneath you, you've just got the rhythm right, you really can get into some rhythm through that infield section. I see cars ahead side by side as well. That's going to be Mares and Fitzpatrick. They were looking very close, I think, as they came over the start-finish line. As Warmingham trying to come up with Ritchie now. And up ahead as well, Mayers and Williamson, and with Hefford right there as well, all swinging into turn 1. Battles happening all through the track, even with the small field that we've got tonight. Guys putting on a bit of good entertainment for us so far. But yeah, 2 little groups of 3 cars here scrabbling away. No changes of position in that particular sequence of corners. Back up the front, Foggy has losing time to Halliburton actually, Alex. Yeah, there we go, right on the screen now. Foggy all of a sudden less than half a second ahead of Halliburton, so he's had a little bit of an issue on this lap. Yeah, he was half a second slower in sector 2, so that looks like to have been the issue. And Webster's still getting pulled along as well, just a further half second or 3/4 of a second or so behind. So top 3 is really starting to heat up, and Foggy is going to feel Halliburton come all the way under his gearbox as they come up to turn 1 through this huge section of flat corners, which we may as well call the start-finish straight. So it's Halliburton 6/10 off as they exit the corner. Let's have a look at that battle for first timing in the bottom right corner, see how much it closed. So that's 1/10 already now. They're not at the start-finish line yet. Coming up to 2/10 gained. It's going to be 3/10 almost by the time they get to the braking zone. 2.5 he gained coming off that last corner into the braking zone. Foggy locking the brakes, trying to leave it as late as he possibly could. And it'll be interesting now whether Foggy can bang in a lap or 2 to build that gap again. But Halliburton, we can see, is really going to have that slipstream as an advantage. Dan Webster, yeah, still just half a second behind as well. Then we've got a 3-second gap back to Williamson, Fitzpatrick, Mayers. Williamson looking pretty close to the back of Mayers, battling for 6th and 7th as well. And then back to Hefford Warmingham, who's down in 9th now. Kip Stevens in 10th, and yeah, we can see in the time screen Luke Cooper is still dropping off the back, struggling with that damaged car. He's got a little bit of time left to the cars behind, but I think he's going to lose 3 more positions before the end of the race. I think the battle at the front here is where we are going to be focusing all of our attention. Foggy clambering all over the inside curb there of the of turn 10. So curbs on this track are generally not so bad. So the Radicals can cope with them a little bit easier, certainly than they could at Imola last week. There's a couple that you need to be careful of. Turn 2, for instance. But otherwise, we can see these guys able to jump over those curves and not having too much of an issue. Foggy did manage to put in a good lap that time by. Let's have a look at the lap times they come over the start-finish lane. 1 minute 28.5 for Foggy, 1 minute 28.9 for Halliburton. So yeah, fastest lap of the race for Foggy that time by, maybe with an off track because it didn't show as his best lap. So yeah, he managed to put 4/10 into Halliburton. So Foggy has banged that lap in and trying to break that toe. He's going to need to do it the same this lap as well before he can really feel that Halliburton isn't going to swamp up to him on the start finish line. So Foggy did what he needed to do there. He needed to bang that lap and he did it. Right, yep. 6th and 7th, Craig set up shop cars battling away. Williamson all over the back of Mayers as they come through turns 4 and 5 into the infield section. Again, Williamson going to have to be fairly patient unless he wants to dive into turn 10, but he's just going to be shaping up his teammate, I think, for a move out of the final corner on that long run to the start-finish line. Very different entrances they head into turn 8 there. Yeah, you see Williamson trying to get this opportunity maybe for this dive into turn 10, like I was saying, is all over the back of him. Is he going to dive to the inside? He doesn't, he backs off slightly, in fact. But yeah, you can see him shaping it up there, trying to take those different lines, and that did enable him to core into Meza.
Yeah, I suppose he didn't have a little look. Perhaps anybody else, he might well have gone for it, but with his teammate, it's always a bit risky there, isn't it? You know, you have to be, the other driver has to be kind of like aware of what's happening and what's going on. So yeah, what was surprising is he dropped right back off on that second hairpin there as well, and of course he's not got a run here down the straight. So yeah, the turn 10 is where he sort of dropped a good 6/10 back. So uses slipstream again to close back in. But yeah, they're just sort of circulating on their own at the moment. So perhaps no pressure. They're happy where they are, maybe.
And so back at the front, Foggy had a little bit of a tough end to the lap again from looks of it. He's that hard work from the previous time, but has been undone a bit, down to half a second almost for Halliburton again. So it looks like Foggy's maybe got the outright pace on Halliburton here, but just not quite nailing that consistency. Meanwhile, Webster's have a problem at some point, Alex. I don't know if you've got that bookmarked in your system, but he is now down to 4th. Craig Williams jumped up ahead into 3rd. 12 places gained from his starting position. And yeah, it's just going to be a battle between these two now for the top spot of the podium.
Dan Webster, replay coming up.
And so coming through the infield then, yeah, coming in towards turn 10. Going to lock up the rears.
Oh, big twitch.
Yeah, locked up very early. Spent the whole braking zone trying to correct it and just couldn't quite get it intact again before he had to turn into the corner. I saw the skid marks as we were following one of the different cars there, Mayers and Williamson it was, and evidently that's who it was, Dan Webster. So back at Williamson and Mayers again. So Williamson's a little bit closer this time. Is he going to close enough before the braking zone? He's trying to have a little bit to think about it. Is he going to dive out the last second? As you said, I think, Alex, if that wasn't his teammate, perhaps he would have.
Oh, well, he's going to get handed it if he doesn't take them both out. Mayers around.
That was lucky.
Yeah, just overcooked. That's pretty similar to kind of what Webster did, really. And talking of Webster, he's having a look at a move right now on Craig Williams and through up the inside. So recovering after his little mishap a lap or so ago.
Ooh, Webster bumping Williams almost off the track there. Williams did a good job to keep it on the black stuff. Super quick section of the infield as they come in, but yeah, Webster bullies his way straight back up into that 3rd position, as you say. Foggy and Halliburton fluctuating a little bit, down to half second for a moment, and then back up to 7/10 again. So that is continuing to alter as they go through the infield there.
Having a little look. Fraser Williams has now got Richard Warmingham for company. So Warmingham going to move forward, down 2 places from the start of this one. Actually, who are our biggest movers out there? Williamson ahead is the main man. 9. Glatzel still down 12. Still running out there, but yeah, after that first lap, he didn't exactly watch that back in a replay to know if he picked up any damage, but it looks like he has, because he's just way off the off pace with the guys at the moment.
Yeah, it really looks like he is struggling indeed. I think he had a second incident later on in the race as well. Right, here comes Warmingham on the inside of Williamson's ahead to turn 4. Gets it turned in. Williamson, great drive off the corner though. Warmingham's going to have to stay out wide. Warmingham's going to have the inside for the next corner. Williamson, I think, is going to struggle to hold on to that outside line. He tries to hang around the outside, but Warmingham just keeps his nose ahead, and he's got the inside now as they slow it right the way down coming into the infield. So nice little battle between those two. Doesn't look quite over yet, but Warming, I think, is going to have that position secured, and there we go, finally the move is done. Took 3.5 to 4 corners, but yeah, got it done for 6th position.
Yeah, and it brought Kip Stevens almost into the play as well, half a second back from these guys. But I think it was the right idea from Fraser. If you can keep a little overlap, you've got a chance to kind of get it back. Just because of the way the circuit is, it constantly, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, you've got a chance. But yeah, just wasn't able to quite keep that overlap, and Warmingham just kind of threw it in and was
Williams,
able to get that.
Williams getting the position back on Webster somehow.
Nice.
So yeah, Williams making a battle of this, not just handing that final podium spot over to Webster. I think Webster's going to close nicely now as we come down towards turn 4 and 5. Williams doesn't really defend, allows Webster to go to the inside. Webster not giving him any space, gets it turned in. Williams allows the position to be taken in the end. But yeah, so was that an error from Webster last time by? Yeah, looks like it. 29.6 last time by. So little error from Webster somewhere there. Creating that again. Williamson coming back and Warmingham. We thought that position was sorted, but the toe has obviously brought Williamson straight back. Warmingham trying to cut back up the inside as they come into the infield. Williamson's got the speed to cover that off. But as you said a minute ago, Williamson off track. Warmingham has a little sniff, but unless Williamson had a problem on the brakes, no, Warmingham is all good. But as you said, Kip Stevens right in the hunt now as well.
Yeah, I'm just seeing as well, Glatzel crashed again, unfortunately, so the damage, his car is giving him even more headache out there. But yeah, these guys still battling away, and actually, I think...
Webster.
Yeah, Webster. Oh, there he is, you see him just turned in his Kimi Raikkonen. But yeah, did not work at all. Fitzpatrick may get a run here, big overspeed.
Very quickly, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's going to be there.
As well.
Is Webster going to defend? Fitzpatrick looks to go up the inside. Can he get it stopped and controlled? Webster doesn't hang on, allows the spot to be taken. Fitzpatrick up into 4th position. Webster's going to have a go back it down to turn 4, I'm sure. That's 14 positions now gained for Fitzpatrick, working his way through the field very nicely indeed. Right, here comes Webster then with that toe. Fitzpatrick defends. He's going to have the inside line into turn 4. Webster not in position to come around the outside. He's trying for a little bit of a cutback here as they then drive off towards turn 6 and the infield. Fitzpatrick again covering the inside and looks safe for the moment. All Webster wide.
Yeah, Warmingham and Stevens behind side by side as well, and that's Kip up and through. Warmingham was the one that looked like he was the driver that was going to come through this little group and pull away, and now he finds himself right at the back of it.
Absolutely, that has not worked out at all for Warmingham, but already Williamson feeling the need to defend from Stevens as they come into the hairpin there. Oh, Stevens almost tagging the back of Williamson. Lucky there wasn't a bit of netcode or anything to interfere there. But yeah, Stevens looking like he has found his rhythm. Only gained 1 spot from his starting grid, so he's maybe just trying to recover slightly. And let's see how they do as they work their way up to the start-finish line again. Williamson's going to be in real trouble here, potentially from both cars. Let's see how much of a tow Warmingham gets having the 2 cars in front pulling along.
Yeah, he's definitely coming. Kip has got the run, he goes to the outside, so does Warmingham.
Warmingham could get through here if they both get caught up a little bit ahead, but they don't. Nicely done for both of them. Williamson clambers all over the inside curb on turn 1. Stevens backs out of it and allows himself the opportunity to have another go now as they head towards turn 4. Yeah, Williamson trying to defend, but back market interfering slightly. Kip Stevens ending up not in a position to have another go. So Williamson survives for half a lap further from the tip. Nicole Foggy back down to half a second gap ahead of Halliburton again. So that is still fluctuating, by no means done and dusted. Webster had a little go, it looks like, at Fitzpatrick as well, just 2 tenths behind.
Yeah, take a quick look at that front battle. Not had an awful lot of love in this race. Been some great battles going on throughout the field, but it's the business time now. Lap to go.
Yeah, so Halliburton, we can see closing to within 3 tenths is going to be by the time they get to the braking zone. So it's going to be critical now for Foggy to get this final lap clean. It's not a great start. Hits the apex, but locks up pretty heavily. Oh, Halliburton takes the pressure off, spins mid-corner, just trying to get on the power a little bit too early. Puts it in the wall, big damage. Can he limp back and not lose 13 seconds to Craig Williams behind him third? You would imagine he can just about hold on to that. But that was unfortunate. Halliburton pushing hard allows Foggy off the hook. Right, let's go back to Fitzpatrick and Webster, just a tenth behind. There we go, as if by magic the camera changes. Webster looking like he's going to push hard. Fitzpatrick defending massively as they head up towards turn 4, right on the inside white line. Webster's going to try and have a look around the outside, go for this cutback slightly again, maybe try and get a better drive, but has a big wiggle. Fitzpatrick, I think, is going to be safe now as they head into turn 6, thanks to that wiggle. Stevens, then Warmingham, then Mayer. So Warmingham, no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong car. Williamson, sorry, is still ahead of Stevens, and then Warmingham, but I hear tyres squealing somewhere. Oh, Stevens, there we go. Stevens into the wall hard. Lost it mid-corner of turn 6 to 7. Let's have a look at this back again on the replay. It looks okay initially, and I just hear the tyre squealing. Yeah, I got a bit of a tank slapper on initially. Got it corrected, it looks like, and then maybe just, what do you think, the tyre temperature just causing it to go again, Alex?
I think
Foggy.
so. Here comes Foggy for the win. Great win. And
Halliburton does limp at home. Yep.
Yeah, drive really. One mistake cost him opportunity to have a go. What is going on between this Webster and Fitzpatrick battle? This is going to be extremely close, I think. Oh, who's going to get that? Timing screen says one thing, but what does iRacing say? And that one is just as close as well. Williamson and Warmingham. Kip Stevens limping back then. Car. Good.
So, yeah, tough finish there for the guys. Kip Stevens limping at home as well, very slowly as he came over the start-finish line. Down in 14th after that huge damage, just half a lap for the end. So, yeah, lots of hard racing now. We had 2 cars heavily into the wall on the last lap. That is not a usual occurrence. So, unfortunately for those guys, just trying to get that last position done at the end. But Nicole Foggy in the end takes the win for race 1. Looks comfortable on the stats sheet with a 5-second gap or so, but it was far from comfortable. Halliburton had him under pressure the whole race long, but never quite close enough to make a move. So just waiting for the last cars to come over the line so we can get the confirmed race results up on the page, and then we will be having a little break shortly, preparing ourselves for race 2.
Do you believe we've got the final classifications in?
And so there we go. Nicole Foggy, XVR driver, taking the win. As we say, on paper it looks comfortable, but it was far from that. Kane Halliburton, unfortunate. I say, it looked like maybe a bit of curb and a bit of traction off of turn 1 was his downfall there, putting it into the wall. Limps home in second. Craig Williams, cracking result in third. Had to defend hard earlier on from Dan Webster coming back, but ultimately survived. Fitzpatrick then finished. Wow, look at the... did we see that over the line, Fitzpatrick and Webster? Just a few hundredths of a second between 4th and 5th. Fitzpatrick hanging on to that. Webster with his damaged car having to settle for 5th in the end. Williamson held on for that battle for 6th. Warmingham then finishing behind in 7th. Jamie Mayers in 8th with Luke Cooper, who we didn't really see through the race, in 9th. Eamon McCauley in 10th with Steve Hevered in 11th. Lorne Murray in 12th with Alan McCain in 13th. And then after that, it was cars damaged through incidents. So Kip Stevens ended up all the way back, and the last of the finishers on the lead lap in 14th. Sven Glatzel, who was challenging for the lead at the start, in 15th. Paul Krepp in 16th. James McRitchie in 17th. And our last runner was Anthony Jacobson in 18th, unfortunately out halfway through the race, so it looks like.
Yeah, good first race. Lots of little battles going on. That's kind of what we said we would expect to see, I think, at the start of the broadcast. So it's good to know we weren't chatting absolute rubbishly.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a change. It's good. No, and it's fortunate as well, because it's a shame, a little bit of a shame we got a small grid, but understandable with being 14th of February. So yeah, nice that we had some good entertaining battles to watch all the way through that race there. Right, so as you say, we're going to be looking at a reverse grid now for race 2. Anyone who was 1 lap down or better, so that's going to be Kip Stevens in 14th and up, are all eligible for this reverse grid wheel.
Okay, here we go. Let's give this a spin. See who it's going to be. Be small. I don't think so. It's going to end up on 20th, which is basically a full reverse grid for the turnout we have tonight.
And so that puts car in the wall on the last lap. Kip Stevens into pole position for a race 2. Alan McCain is going to line up alongside him in 2nd place. So we shall have a short break while the next session gets up and running. Don't go anywhere though. Remember, we've got 2 more races still to go. Reverse grids for both of them. Action for sure to be seen. So we shall see you again in just a few minutes.
Stephen de Wolf, BMW versus BMW. This is a great run here by Roy Becker and Moret and de Wolf getting a bit sideways through the bus stop here. Chris Moretta is behind as well, as is Lee Deemer.
I need to point out, by the way, since it was a common occurrence during the old broadcast when we talked about Ferrari and Ducati. Also, not a big fan of Valentino Rossi as well. So I am the atypical Italian. Don't like Ferrari, don't like Ducati, and more importantly, I'm not a big fan of Valentino Rossi. A fantastic motorcycle rider, one of the best in the world, best in the history. But no, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I must admit I didn't used to be, but
some people once said that they are going to revoke my passport one of these days if they hear me on one of these broadcasts talking trash about Ferrari, Ducati, Valentino Rossi and company.
I think this is the thing. I must admit I never used to be a big fan of Rossi. I think I'm always conditioned to sort of dislike people who are too good. I think is part of the thing. But it's the same with Ferrari. I used to love Ferrari. They used to be my favourite team in F1 and in other things. And then they started sort of taking the mickey a little bit with the rules and all the other things, and didn't like them again for a while. And well, in fact, for mostly since I haven't really liked them that much. So. Apart from when they were fighting against Red Bull for the world title, because that was when, because I do like Fernando Alonso. Now, Ruben van Boel then, who had a bit of a difficult qualifying, but he looks to be driving smoothly at the moment, and he's in 9th place. So 2 positions are lost, but more importantly, he's kept all the bits on his car where they're supposed to be.
As Steve Van Buren is closing in on Bob Boland for the 2nd position, as of course Van Knechten is running away right now. He's got a 3 seconds lead over these 2 guys, and Boland goes a bit wide, more than a bit wide, and maybe Van Buren, if he can following closely through these final 2 corners, can have a great run through the first front stretch and maybe go for a pass into the first corner.
He needs to really follow that Mercedes as tightly as possible, pick up the slipstream. You can see the Mercedes just pulling away in the first half of the straight, so even though he gets the slipstream, Van Boel, it's not the longest pitch straight in the world. Boland struggling with understeer. See what the BMW does up the hill. Seems to have a slightly better line, Van Boel. He's picking up the toe now, Marco. He's gaining. He's going to have to have a dive if he wants it, but the bus stop chicane cuts off about half the straight.
Yeah, exactly. Remember, we did the BSR Radicals a few weeks ago. I think it was the 1st or 2nd week of the championship, and they were racing at this track, but without the bus stop, and there were some amazing slipstreaming left and right, but you know, then you postpone your problems to the carousel, and maybe you get there with 3 or 4 cars all across the track, and you really need to behave there. But too bad, because I really like the the possibility of getting the tow for the entirety of the straight and then trying to move there at the carousel.
I can see why the bus stop chicane's there. I think there were several accidents actually at that corner. I think there were a few fatalities as well.
Yeah, JD McDuffie in the NASCAR
JD
race.
McDuffie, that's it.
And the year previous or the year after, I don't know, but Tommy Kendall had a massive off, which still to this day he is suffering from the consequences, because he really hurt his leg really bad. And then they decided, okay, let's put a chicane there, because the speed that they get through there is absolutely massive.
Because I think that's that's why I can see why the bus stop chicane's there, but it does unfortunately slightly stunt the racing down the back straight. But I'd rather have slightly worse racing than what we had in the past with those two gentlemen. Now Gregory Franks up the hill through the S's section. I'd love a Grand Prix to come back to here, I really would, but it's the way the track is at the minute, it's not really that viable. Is he going to go for a move? This would be very brave indeed for and that's Van Boel on Boland. Been very brave going up the inside there.
Yeah, I don't think that the FIA would like that SS section too much.
No, they would not. They would not at all. I guess it does hold FIA sanctioned events, but only slightly, I guess only, because it doesn't hold IndyCar either, does it, Watkins?
It did for a season, because they lost a race in Boston. I have to be honest, I don't remember if they came back, it was a couple of years ago. But the standards in the USA are a bit different, so they can get away with it. F1, I think the FIA would need, for almost all of the North American tracks, to get different standards. I'm thinking also of Road America, some corners there. I mean, I absolutely love those tracks, but when I read, oh yeah, maybe Formula One should go to these tracks, I say please no, because they will completely change the nature of some of these fantastic corners. So
it looks like they've raced here in 2016 and 2017. I'm not sure if they raced here last year or not. I feel like they did, but I'm just not completely sure on that one. Also as well, Francois Sever also died at this track, but that was much earlier than McDuffie. McDuffie was in 1991, Sever was 1973. Did used to host, obviously, US Grand Prix for several years. They're much different guys as well. When it was held in the 60s, the track was much different. As here's Daniel McCauley having a run at, oh dear me, at Alvarez. And Alvarez sort of defended a bit strangely, Marco, but it kind of helped him in a way, because when McCauley had the momentum, he just couldn't find a way through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I have to say, respect to both of these guys who really, kept it clean, because that would have been, one of those tricky moments, because they were side by side, and the faster car was on the outside at the bus stop. Also, Steve Van Buell still not able to get the move done on Bob Boland, despite these two guys being so close for I think around 3 or 4 laps now. But the BMW seems to be missing something, and right behind them still, Ranks and Garcia cannot.
It seems like it's missing traction out of the medium and slow speed corners, and that's the real problem for it. It seems like in the fast stuff he's got actually better stability than the Mercedes does, but just can't pick up off the corner as well as the bigger car can.
Gap between 1 and 2, changing a bit between Van Genechten and Boland. I think that Van Genechten had a little bit of a mistake in the previous lap, and that gap dropped. It was around 5 seconds. Now it's down to 3.8. So he might have had a mistake at the bus stop, if I got that correctly on the live timing.
Yeah, not much change in that gap there. over the last couple of laps at least. Andrew Hopley is at the back of this group then with Ruben Van Boel, Macaulay and Alvarez. This is the sort of close racing that we see quite often in this series. Oh, Hopley very nearly squeezing past. Interestingly, I'm just seeing this on this page of Watkins Glen history. An old ticket for the Grand Prix in 1973, and it was $15.
Oh.
It's not bad if you could get into a Grand Prix for that these days. I think everybody would be happy. GT3 racing, that's usually about what you pay for the tickets for that. And GT3 racing in the past sort of 10 years or so really has allowed a lot of fans, Marco, the chance to experience top quality motor racing at a reasonable price.
Yes, I always talk about the 2016 Spa 24 Hours, which I was lucky enough to attend. And
was that the one with all the red flags?
It was the one that had only 2 safety cars. Granted, one lasted 1 hour because a Ferrari and a Porsche decided to destroy the barrier at the end of Rouge Raidillon. But yeah, it was a remarkably clean Spa 24-hour race, and also it was driver back.
Oh, I think he's got him now, Marco. Sorry to interrupt, but I think Van Boel is going to have a go here. Boland not covering the inside. Carried so much speed into there, Bob Boland. Did you see how fast he was through the bus stop? He's getting 0.6 of a second through there.
Yeah, and I think Van Boel also had a little bit of a, he didn't have the ideal line going through the bus to finish my. Oh, Boland a bit wide, more than a bit wide there, and maybe Van Boel now can close the gap once again.
We've seen.
Yeah.
Sorry, we've seen many drivers crash there, haven't we? Getting a wheel on the grass.
Of course, I shouldn't point you to the broadcast of the World GT in the round 1 in Watkins Glen a few weeks ago, but if you want after this one, go catch what happened there. I think it was in race 2. But yeah, we had a flying Ferrari amongst other things, so that part of the track there can be quite tricky as well, especially that left-hander going down the hill. When you have a problem there, you cannot see if you're coming from the previous corner what's going on there. So you go there, you say, okay, it's all clean, and then you find the car stuck because it seems so wide, but it's not really wide, especially when you consider what is the right racing line. Then, as Luktis has got a problem.
Yeah, let's have a little look here then. Went through the chute. And there you go.
Speak of the devil. Oh.
Ooh. Ben Haynes has crashed as well. I'm not exactly sure what's happened to him. Oh, it's not going to be a final corner job into the wall, is it? Oh, sideways on the way in. Can he save it? Can he save it? Can he save it? Oh, no. Oh, hello. Somebody was very lucky. I think it might have been Ronald Moons.
It wasn't a big hit, and luckily for him, he just had to cross the road to go to the pit lane. So
that's it. Sorry, finish your story. I wanted to hear the story.
Okay, just to say that I mean, with a price of I think 50 euros, we had a ticket for the entirety of the weekend. We could go anywhere, and it was so open, even though it was a Spa 24-hour event. So there's a lot at stake. It's a fantastic race, very prestigious race. But we slept basically we camped inside the racetrack on top of the Brussels corner. I've been to Formula 1 Grand Prix. I've been to many events. It was the best event I've ever been, by far. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to go to it. Ooh. Did I hear some sliding there from the guys just in front? I think everyone's got away with that. Yeah, I'd like to go to a 24-hour race one day.
Oh, I forgot to mention the best thing of them all.
Very good.
Best thing of them all was falling asleep on Saturday night with the sound of the engines roaring. And actually, what woke me up at night a couple of times The lead over Stuart moves to like 2.6 seconds, but like I said, there's a car in between them, so that is Ben Thanes. So, I mean, Pedro is one of the nicest drivers, and also another very, very nice, colorful livery, I might add. As I apologize to everyone, but my OBS...
Welcome back to BSR Radical Thursday on Apex Racing TV. Lee Thompson again here, joined by Alex Simpson. Beginning of race 2 coming up. We have just been watching our other simultaneous broadcast going on during the break there of the GT Racers, Sim Racers World. That was looking like an entertaining race at Watkins Glen going on. So remember, you can keep up to date with all our activities through our different social media channels. Like us on Facebook, share us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, and you will make sure that you will see any news and up-to-date schedules. I'm seeing the red lights preparing already, so I'm going to shut up. Kip Stevens on pole position, Alan McCain lining up alongside him on second. Kip starts from that pole position. Does he cover off at inside like we saw Halliburton do on race 1? He doesn't, so McCain might get a little sniff into turn 1 here if he's feeling brave. Steve Hefford looking very close behind him third as well. McCain does get that inside line. Stevens loses out, has to slot into second place. Didn't cover that inside off at all the whole way down to turn 1. How much of a run can he get now to turn 4? But yes, Hefford third, Cooper fourth, McCauley fifth. Someone falling down the grid, I think it was Williamson losing a few spots as well. And here comes the tow as they all come towards turn 4. They all stay single file. That looks very gentlemanly.
Yeah, exactly. A bit more tasty a bit further back. Oh, there's Glatzel just to get in a place or two. But yeah, he'll need to recover well after the last one. But yeah, much better start. I think it was Warmingham. He's the one that's down 9 spots. So Warmingham with issues. But yes, Sven trying to make up places quickly. Oh, around a few cars.
Instant.
Oh, someone's up, but no! Well, they're not up and over.
It's Glatzel again.
Yeah, oh, poor Sven. That was Steve Hefford that got involved in it. Kip Stevens very much involved right at
so Stevens from second position. So we will see a full replay of that in just a moment. Let's watch the rest of this first lap. First of all, as they all scrabble to recover. McCain still in front. That puts Cooper now in second position. Mayers in third. Williamson in fourth. Webster in fifth. Severely damaged car there. And another spin and contact. So that's Murray and McCauley. Huge T-bone on the exit of turn 12. Both cars severely damaged. One retired straight to the pits. Okay, so everyone's looking single file apart from Fitzpatrick and Crab, is it? So Crab down the inside of Fitzpatrick into turn 1. Fitzpatrick gives him the space and then cuts across the sides that he is safe and covered holds onto that position. And then let's look at this replay then. So it's McCain and then it was Hefford and then Stevens. So how does this happen? Stevens into the back of Hefford, and that's what caused the incident. To be fair, or initially like a fair amount of cars were safely getting through and then tangled up after that, so that was unfortunate. But yeah, just keep getting into the back of Hefford there into the first slow corner of the circuit. Oh, super busy back here in the infield again. Glatzel involved again with the 2 crate setup cars. Oh, replay.
Sorry, yeah, sorry. I was actually after the Murray one later on in the lap, and he was involved in that first one, so that was maybe why. Let's have a little look. Exactly. Oh, I just lost it on the corner, and then nowhere to go. So, unfortunately. Right, back to live this time, Lee. Sorry. Surprise.
Right, and so surprise for Webster. He's got Fitzpatrick on the outside. Just has to give up the spot. Eventually, almost sneaks it round. But Webster a little bit wide, maybe on the apex. But gets a good drive off the corner nonetheless. So actually, Fitzpatrick was offline. It didn't look quite that way in my camera angle, but Crab straight past Fitzpatrick, just off the corner, not even with the tow, and now he's got the tow. Webster ahead to continue pulling them along. So yeah, unfortunate for Fitzpatrick there. Crab having a move on Webster now as well, straight up the inside. How hard is Webster going to defend? Locks brakes up ahead as well, but all looking okay. Crab gets that spot from Webster. 2 positions and 2 corners, nicely done from Crab there, but he's going to be straight back under pressure again from Webster, and Fitzpatrick off the circuit, almost went in the back, I think, of Webster. Keeps his foot in, comes back on, loses 1 spot only. Yeah, having a little explore off the track. and Webster losing another spot.
Yeah, and
Fitzpatrick as well.
I was going to say, Sam might get straight back by here. Foggy with some connection issues there.
And Fitzpatrick did get that spot from Webster. His tyre squealing somewhere though, but Webster maybe dropped back slightly, but everyone perhaps looked safe. Williamson defending hard from McCain. Luke Cooper has scampered away at the front. McCain was in the lead last time we looked, I'm pretty sure, so issue for him. Cooper has been able to take advantage, second down the road on Williamson, then McCain, then Mayers, then Foggy over Crab. Foggy just takes the position as I speak from Crab for 5th position. You can see them in the background, there we go, still fighting. Crab not giving it up at all, trying to hang on the inside. Foggy, oh, you see Crab twitching under braking. Foggy able to drive straight around the outside, using all of that exit curb and more. And now Fitzpatrick trying to come back at Crab as well. Yeah, overtakes in every single spot. I'm seeing very small intervals all the way through the field. Right, on board then with Crab trying to come back at Foggy. Foggy takes the inside line. Crab goes around the outside. Where's Foggy going to appear? On the left. Crab gives us plenty of space, trying to hang around the outside. Foggy cuts across nicely, takes all of that curve and more, and disappears off into the distance. We can hear Fitzpatrick's engine behind as well, and there we go. Fitzpatrick's already alongside. Look how close that's going to be. Crab just about gives space. Fitzpatrick not quite going to have the legs, and goes into the back of Crab. Somehow Crab seems to get away with it. Fitzpatrick got away with it as well. I did not expect that. Halliburton all of a sudden into this mix as well. How they both got away with that, I will never know.
No, me neither. It's always the risk when you come across somebody like that just in front of the braking zone. And I think people don't realise that when you're that close, you take so much air off the car, and it's so much harder for the person behind to brake. And when you do it just before the braking zone, there's no chance for them to react to it whatsoever. So many people do it and wonder why they get absolutely rogered from behind, and yeah, they're just to blame.
So yeah, looking super busy here in the opening laps of race 2. Luke Cooper's only got a couple of attempts over Williamson for the lead, and Halliburton done over by Glatzel. So Glatzel mugs Halliburton there, it looked like, through the exit of the infield.
That damage, isn't it? It's got to be the damage. He's slow. Look, he's about to get a lot done by Warmingham here as well. Richard completely around the outside, even though Halliburton has the draft straight through. Oh, it's close at the front. I need to have a little look.
And so Williamson got Cooper there at some point. So yeah, Williamson, Craig's shot car, takes over the lead. And let's have a look at that move. So it's down into turn 1 then. Williamson got his nose up the inside at pit lane entry. Cooper stuck on the outside. How does the braking zone turn out? Williamson pretty even, but Williamson just about has the legs in it. Slight lock up all over the inside curb of the first one. Drives off the corner nicely and looks to be under control. Further back, things are still not under control between Crab and Fitzpatrick. Glatzel just lurking in the background there as well, battling for this 5th position as they head into the infield. Very different lines there we see on the approach to turn 8. But yeah, Crab holds onto that position. Fitzpatrick 6th. Glatzel still looking like he's trying to move forward. He's gained 8 positions so far from his starting grid. Not as good though, as Nicole Foggy gaining 11 or Paul Crab gaining 11 as well in 3rd and 5th position respectively.
We'll look at Warmingham and McCain. McCain obviously had issues in the Bushwick car last race, so we'll want a better run. I think he's going to get Halliburton here. Well, I said that, but actually looks very slow in a straight line himself. And Kane able to even pull away down the straight, coming through there.
Always trying to come back at him though. Woman dives down the inside at the end. McCain gives him the space, can't quite hang on the inside either, so Warmingham gets that position, and they're going to be moving up on Halliburton as well.
Yeah, good move. Oh, it's tasty at the front once again. Looking at the timing screen, 0.08 of a second, and who's turned up for the party? It's Nicole Foggy in the XVR car.
And Foggy all of a sudden got himself in this lead battle. He was down in 8th position just a couple of moments ago, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he just went purple in Sector 1 and Sector 2, looking at the timing screen. So, yeah, absolutely flying out there today. Right. I wonder if it's helped with the fact that he was here last night in the F3. You know, just He's at one with the circuit, and does a lot of series, doesn't he, Nicole? A lot of racing, a lot of league racing. Very, very quick in most that he does. And yeah, I think when they converge like this, and you've got multiple series at the same track, it really helps because he's able just to focus on one circuit rather than to sort of split his resource up.
So Williamson already taking a defensive line before they got anywhere near the front straight. Comes back to the racing line now though. Foggy not going to be quite close enough for a dive into turn one, but he knows he can be patient. He's got half a lap still to go. I say patient, he outbrakes himself. Cooper gets that position straight back into turn one. Uncharacteristic statement of Foggy, just saying he's got, you know, he's only got one spot to gain. We know he's got the pace, he's got half a race to go, and he outbrakes himself into turn one.
That, I believe, sir, is what we call a commentator's curse.
I'm glad I get to join the Apex club of having done that. Mayer's under pressure now from Crab, 4th and 5th. Crab going well, he's moving forward. He's pulled away a second from Glatzel and Fitzpatrick behind. Halliburton, as you said, still struggling massively with that damage. I guess that was in the lap 1 incident.
I think it was, yeah. And he actually just went wide and lost the place there to Warmingham as well. So, yeah. He's still up 4 spots for this race, so... You know, yeah, he's not doing too bad considering he is struggling out there in terms of the damage to his car. So the mid-pack has sort of stayed very close. I mean, look, you can see right towards the front, and I say mid-pack because that actually starts at 4th place Jamie Mayers. So it's not really mid-pack at all. Who was that wide? What's the head? Was that Foggy? I think it was Foggy.
Yeah, Foggy taking a different line again, coming onto the front straight then. So here's your top 10. Williamson, Cooper, Foggy, Mayers, Crab, Glatzel. Crab having a move on Mayers for 4th position now. Takes it straight up inside. Glatzel trying to follow but can't quite do it. Nice clean move again. And Crab with that lovely classic Jaguar livery fits well on this Radical. Mayers now having to defend from Glatzel. But yeah, Crab is on the move. 12 positions gained now up into that 4th position. Glatzel, here he comes on Mayers. Oh, it's a tough braking zone to get a move done. Just about gets far enough ahead. Has to really block Mayers, and Mayers now loses a spot to Fitzpatrick. Yeah, turn 4 is not the easiest braking zone to come out from the slipstream of, but Glatzel managed to make it well that time.
Yeah, definitely showed he would have had really competitive pace in that first race had he not had the tiniest little touch from behind in race 1 that sent him shooting into the wall. So it'll be good to see if he can close up to the front few, give him a chance to redeem that possible win that he had taken away so early on in the first lap.
And so you can see Foggy coming back at Luke Cooper now, trying to regain that 2nd position. Lost a little bit on exit of turn 12, or actually lost 2 tenths just on exit. So he might struggle to get enough to come back. But we can see top 6 cars almost in the same shot. Not bad going considering we're already on lap 9. Going to be always going to take us a little bit of battling from the front 2. And all of a sudden this could be a 6-car train looking to get 3 podium spots.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, even the battle box is saying battle for first now, which just goes to show you can see the relative, just 2.3 seconds separating them.
And so you really see how much Foggy could gain on the braking zone into turn 4 there. Not far off for Fitzpatrick and Glatzel as well. So Fitzpatrick hanging with Glatzel and putting the pressure on. Glatzel not really closed on Crab enough in that last lap to get a move done anytime soon. So Fitzpatrick looking like he's feeling pretty confident in that 6th position. Yeah, again, this is great to see in the timing screen. I can just see the top 6 cars all just interval red, 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 red. You know, make sure you're paying attention. This is where the action is, and the action is all at the front. 8th position as well, Richard Warmingham getting involved with something.
Yeah, it's now Crab right, tucked up behind. Well, he's actually behind Glatzel now. So Glatzel got by Crab there, didn't he? So mistake for Crab now. Can Fitzpatrick get by him? Just 2 tenths at the front as well. So
yeah, Fitzpatrick looked pretty good through that last corner. They're able to take a much tighter line as they were exiting the corner. at the front. Williamson under huge pressure from Cooper. Now Cooper trying to go around the outside. Williamson on the inside. Who's going to get the braking done? Cooper using all of the edge of the track and more. Williamson late on the brake, switching away, gets that defence completed, or gets that defence completed, and Cooper second position, running wide onto the straight there. Foggy almost within grasping distance again as well, but Williamson still just needing to defend slightly from Cooper there.
Reminds me more of a BSR MX-5 Tuesday night.
Yeah.
With how close everyone is. So, yeah, great. This is exactly what we wanted to see for race number 2. 1 was exciting, but so far, race 2 looking, far superior for a spectacle anyway, that's for sure.
So top 4 cars all in the same close shot now as well. Super close under braking there. Surprised there was no obvious contact, but Williamson just making a slight break in the infield over Cooper. Then Glatzel nicks ahead of Foggy in the infield there at some point, so we'll have to look at that, see how that happened. That was obviously in that really tight moment through turn 8. Here we go. So Foggy, then Glatzel in shot. Foggy on the back of Cooper. Glatzel sticks his nose up inside. Foggy had a bit of an issue mid-corner, ran very wide, and Glatzel was already there poised, it looked like, to take advantage. Yeah,
I wonder if Foggy didn't want his race coming to an end very quickly and just perhaps had a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to Sven getting ever so close.
Williamson defending hard again, but didn't quite cover off the inside for turn 2. Gets a drive off the corner though. Real bottleneck in that battle now. Glatzel and Foggy going to be looking to make a move at the same time. Glatzel moves out on Cooper. Foggy just waiting behind. Glatzel might struggle not having any draft here, but can he get it on the brakes? There's not really a braking zone. He tries. Cooper, a bit wary, I think, didn't cover off the inside on the apex. And Glatzel is going to hang in there now as they head towards turn 6 and 7. Cooper just about takes the inside line. I thought Glatzel might be able to hold on around the outside, but he goes for maybe an inside move now into the hairpin, but no. Oh, 3 wide in the background.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Paul Crabb, then Fitzpatrick, then Warmingham all of a sudden up into 6th. Where did that come from? That's come from because Foggy's down. Yeah, that's how come I see Warmingham further up. And contact between P2 and P3. Glatzel spins. Optimistic move. He was trying to force the issue a little bit. Slices touches, pirouettes the car around. That's Glatzel down to 8th position. So Williamson, then Cooper, then Crabb all of a sudden up to 3rd. I said Crabb was running well. He's found himself in a podium spot all of a sudden, but for how long? Fitzpatrick and Warmingham now. Warmingham all of a sudden battling for a 3rd position. He was in 8th about a minute and a half ago.
Oh, Fitzpatrick could find himself boxed in here if he's not careful. He needs to get out.
3 wide. So 3 wide as we come up to turn 1. Warmingham just slightly further back. Fitzpatrick covers him off. There's contact up ahead.
Front.
Yeah. Crabb on the inside, but now Fitzpatrick's got the inside for turn 2. Crabb has a big wobble. Warmingham's going to stuff him as well. Can't quite keep the momentum, I don't think, Crabb. I think Warmingham will get the drive off the corner, but Crabb's got the slipstream with Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, great racing here. Race number 2 of the night. BSR Radicals.
2x2. Mayer's just lost out there a little bit. Crabb had another little wiggle, so it's a couple of corners in a row. Maybe just can't quite get those tyre temperatures back under control, maybe. So unfortunately for Crabb, back down to 5th. Defending from Mayers keeps that position. Spin up ahead, Fitzpatrick. No, Cooper, sorry. Luke Cooper spins. We're seeing that's 3 little errors from the top 3 guys now that we've seen. Foggy and Glatzel and Cooper all having issues and dropping to the back. Cooper just pushing hard, I think, trying to get on the back of Williamson is what caused it. Yeah, mid to entry,
same thing
just lost
that we saw, wasn't it? Yeah, the lock and then the death wiggle. It's so easy to overcorrect. You know, you try and steer into it, and then all of a sudden the front just bites and just snaps the other way, and you're sat there looking like a fool, thinking, well, reactions were quick enough to save the first one, but there's no one going to save that one.
So for now, it looks like Williamson's got a get-out-of-jail free card. He's nearly 2 seconds down the road. Fitzpatrick, no such luck. 2 tenths to Warmingham. Sorry, Warmingham moves out on the inside. Fitzpatrick didn't defend at all into turn 1 there. Warmingham, nice clean pass. Fitzpatrick looking very tentative. I wonder if he picks up a little bit of damage or something. He looked very, very cautious into turn 1 there. Under pressure very quickly from Crabb. But yeah, Fitzpatrick down to 3rd. Warmingham, again, a lap ago he was 8th, maybe a lap and a half. Now he's up into second position. That is worked out very nicely indeed for Richard Warman, who I'm sure is pleased to see that his name is now correctly working in the overlay as well. Glatzel and Webster, so two big hitters not in the positions they should be, battling away as they come towards the infield. Glatzel defending on the inside. Webster was going to try and drive it straight around the outside, but he didn't have his nose far enough ahead. Does not work out. We've got only 11 runners, Alex, and with these 11 runners, we have a cracking race still going on. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all looking pretty snug. It's only Williamson who's ahead, but he's lost nearly a second since we last looked. So Williamson, he's going to have to do one more lap. Well, he's cursing that extra lap that's going to come in, I think, because he needs a nice clean final lap, and if he runs at the same pace again and Warmingham runs at the same pace again, he could be in trouble come the start finish line next time by.
Yeah, let's see what the lap times say as they cross the start finish line. And then so Williamson got a 1:29.951 against a 1:28.7, 1.2 seconds. I mean, the gap is half since we just started talking about this.
Richard Warmingham, fastest car on the track that time by, quicker even than a Nicole Foggy. Warmingham already just 3 tenths behind. Williamson looking in trouble. If he keeps it clean, he should be safe through the infield, you would think, but he needs a bit more than that to feel safe from the start finish line. So all within 2.2 seconds, Williamson, Warmingham, Fitzpatrick, Crabb, Mayers and Foggy. Top 6 all within a shout of the podium still. No instant moves looking like happening, but at the back there, Mayers is under pressure from Foggy for that 5th position.
Now, of course, in Tuesday's MX5, they were running extremely wide on the last lap and the last corner to try and prevent the slipstream passes. Ooh. I wonder if Williamson or anyone will do that in this one. Warmingham surely got a great opportunity. 3 tenths of a second, that is perfect distance. No one goes crazy wide. Fitzpatrick a little bit, but doesn't pick up an off-track. Little Williamson, red flash would have picked up if it had done, but yeah,
Williamson
surely.
Safe. Yeah, Williamson, good exit off the corner, trying to make sure Warmingham doesn't get too much of a tow, but he did the job. Good enough final lap from Williamson there. It's going to be close, but it takes the win. Warmingham cracking comeback to get second position. Fitzpatrick gets another podium. Crabb finishes in 4th, Mayers 5th, Foggy in 6th. What a cracking race too, with, as I say, for the last 3 or 4 laps at least, only 11 runners left to entertain us. Wow, that was frantic. No, exactly. Yeah, that could have been a grid of 30 cars.
Yeah, we were hopping back and forth all over the place within that battle to keep an eye on everything that was going on, and there was a couple of little extra bits as well. But yeah, that timing screen just didn't show any white at all for me. That is when it's a dull, boring race. Is when it's all white on our screen. When it's orange and red, that is when it's exciting. And yeah, that was all I was playing with there in terms of flipping the cameras around. It's like which is the closest one here. Fantastic. Everyone's finished as well, which goes to show it was all pretty close, of the runners. Yeah.
So we take a slight breath before we confirm the race results. Fraser Williamson, yeah, cracking job to hold on to the win. I thought odds were against him, seeing how quickly Richard Warmingham was closing on a penultimate lap, but he absolutely did what was needed. Finished 10th and a half ahead. It looked a little bit closer than that. Perhaps Warmingham backed off actually at the line when he realised it wasn't on. Sam Fitzpatrick then in 3rd. Paul Crabb in 4th. He looked like he could have been a challenging even maybe for race win, certainly for a podium before he had a little bit of an issue and dropped back. Jamie Mayers in 5th. Nicole Foggy disappointed, I'm sure, with 6th. He should have taken a race win really, but had that little bit of an issue in the infield, wasn't it? Luke Cooper turned in position 7, not in turn 7. Sven Gatzel finished in 8th. Dan Webster in 9th. Kane Halliburton, yeah, I'm disappointed not to see Halliburton mixed up in that epic battles as well, but yeah, limped home in a damaged car in 10th. Alan McCain in 11th. Important for Halliburton and McCain there to get home those damaged cars, because that gives them a very good chance for a reverse grid, being that there's only 11 people who finished. You'd think it's them two on the front row next race, surely. James McRitchie then 3 laps down. Anthony Jacobson 13th. Steve Hefford 14th. Craig Williams 15th. Lorne Murray 16th. Eamon McCauley 17th. And a front row starting Kip Stevens finishes stone last in 18th position. Yeah, cracking race, as we said, from the guys. Perfect example of how you'd hope a reverse grid works out, you know. Two and a half laps from the end, the two quick guys in the field had just about worked themselves up to a podium spot. You know, we were looking at Foggy and Glatzel maybe getting a podium, maybe getting a win, and that reverse grid sort of timing of the race, if you like, was looking like it was going to work out very nicely indeed.
I wonder what happened to Foggy, because suddenly he was there and then just sort of dropped back through the field. Yeah. I don't know if he had some issues.
Maybe we didn't actually see that one, did we?
Something must have gone on to drop him back there, because yeah, he actually had a really good shout for the win based off of his pace in the first race. So yeah, well, he'll have an opportunity in race number 3, and of course you need a reverse grid wheel to determine.
We kind of don't. Is there, what's the lowest number? Can you get lower than 11th?
That's a good point. Yes, you can.
Okay, cool. We had better spin that wheel then.
Yeah, you can get 10th.
Oh, to get 10th. Only just.
But what you can also do is get 4 minus 5, so that would be 12. Yeah. Okay, guess where it is. Don't look at the screen.
I am not looking at the screen, honest, and I'm saying 11th by coincidence as it appears on Twitch screen. So great. So that works out nicely. Then it was 11th anyway. So no unfortunate feelings with the luck of a draw. So does that mean then Alan McCain 2 reverse grid pole positions in a row? I believe was Alan McCain on first, or was Alan McCain second in race 2?
Wasn't
on
it?
The grid?
Was it Kip?
Maybe he's second.
Kip was first the last one.
Okay, cool. So we'll go for 2 front row starts then for Alan McCain. Race 2 and 3 gets the luck of a draw in the reverse grid wheel. Right, so we shall be back again shortly. We're going to switch again to the simultaneous stream, Alex, or is that race already finished?
No, we're still going to switch over to there. So yeah, to the Sim Racers World GT series at Watkins. That'll be interesting. You might get to see the finish. You might not. So sorry, guys, if we deny you the finish during the advert break, but I'll leave it run as long as I can.
Yeah, maybe we should cut away like 2 laps from the end, not to make people too salty.
Yeah, I reckon 30 seconds. But
okay. Right, so we should see everybody then, in a little while once the 3rd session is up. Perfect opportunity to make a cup of tea, like and follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and all of those similar platforms. Apex Racing TV. We shall see in a little while.
Through turn 12 then. Is he going to pull off into the pits? He does. Can he get slowed down in time for the cone? He can. That was nicely done. No drama there. Now Van Boel is 4th. You can see him on the track map. There he is, car 4. 2 corners to go. Boland is not in his box yet. This is going to be tight, Marco. I'm sure it is.
Yes, it is the Mercedes going into his pit stall as Peter Graus goes by, but we are really looking forward to Van Buel as he comes.
It's very close to the end of the pit lane though, Marco, as well. He can get out quickly. Oh, it's a long stop. It's 11.5. He's going to lose it. He's going to lose that 2nd place. The net 2nd place at least anyway. Graus has gone through, but he hasn't pitted yet. He's not in that equation for 2nd, but Stijn Van Boel has jumped Bob Boland just by having a better pit stop, Marco.
Yes, looking at the overall times, we had Van Buel. His total pit stop time cone to cone was 42 seconds. Bob Boland had 43.7, so almost 2 seconds quicker was Van Buel there, and that made the difference.
Yeah, tremendous stuff out here in the pits. Oh, Boland pushing hard. He nearly crashed it coming out of the carousel. Very, very wide indeed. Steve Kleis is just behind him.
Yes, Van Genechten is in from the lead.
Not pitted yet. Yeah, the leader is in. And, well, he can just relax, really. Make sure you don't miss your pit box. Make sure you don't speed on entry or exit. There's no dangerous speeding on the exit. He's right next to the line. But Van Genechten, let's see what his stop is. It's not going to be a long one, I'm sure. It is going 7.4 seconds. He's done the quickest pit stop out of anybody here. So not only is he the fastest one on the track, he's the fastest one in the pits as well.
39.3 time cone to cone as Growls is in as well.
Very
So
good. That
we have
the previous fastest was 39.5 by Chris Moretta. Moons and Alvarez side by side.
Moon's really
Moons.
going long because he still has to stop.
Still going, Roland Moons. Oh,
Gregory Ranks.
Alvarez nearly lost it in front of him, near me.
Okay, yes. I mean, I saw Gregory Ranks drop down, but it was a connection issue. Good for him, he's still going. Let's see if Moons will finally go to the pits. He does, and
Peter Growls and Steve Kleiss are in as well, as is Ben Taines, so he's the last one to come into the pits.
Exactly. So now everyone.
Steve Kleiss, good race for him.
Yeah. P8 right now. He's going to maybe drop a couple of positions here and there, but
nope.
It is expected. Maybe not. No, he does.
Well, it was a hell of a middle stint that he ran there, Steve Kleiss. One of the lowest rated drivers in terms of iRacing license class, so just a C license. But yeah, terrific job by him. The only one of only 2 Ferraris in the field here today. But having started 14th, Steve Kleiss has climbed very nicely up into the top 8. The gold driver there. And here's De Wolf and Ebere and Moretta and Koba Klaas.
Klaas and De Wolf fighting for 3rd place in the silver category. And while we're at it, let's get...
So Ebere and De Wolf nearly hit each other in the shoot.
Here are the classifications only for the respective class. So you can see the leader is Andrew Opley in the silver class. Arturo Alonso Alvarez is in 2nd and Steven De Wolf in 3rd. You can see Klaas super close to his opponent on the podium. And in the bronze category, Stuart Musselwhite is the leader, 14 seconds over Bram van Outen. And in the chat they are saying it's only Stuart can lose this race. So they are trying to jinx him apparently. But Bram van Outen in 2nd and Pedro Braganza is in 3rd. These 3 guys are a bit spread out from each other, so it should be a clean run to the end for the bronze category.
Now, Van Alphen's done a good job in this race again, but it's just the fact that he pitted so early. He pitted on lap 9, where Stuart Musselwhite pitted on lap 17. Now, I have to say that Musselwhite, for a lap 17 pit stop, to do 7.83 seconds was just outstanding, it really was, and that's one of the reasons why he's won the race. I mean, or winning the race, 16 seconds difference in the pits. And again, to me, that just proves that the early stop isn't really very good. See what he's going for, trying to get some clear air, and that does help. But surely it would be. I mean, when you look at E.F. van Genekten's stop, Marco, of 7.4 seconds, you surely must realise that is really the way to go, pitting as late as possible.
Yeah, apparently that is the way to go, and it's usually always the way to go in the official series, so whatever IMSA or Plampan, BRSTT or Le Mans series, usually the later you stop, the better it is. As meantime, while we're at it, let's get the time difference between P2 and P3 after the pit stop Van Buren and Boland. You can see the gap is now 3 seconds.
Hello, inside.
Sand.
Oh, well, that was De Wolf having a look at Heberet.
So apparently, after the pit stop, Van Buren is little by little inching away from Bob Boland after following him for the majority of this race, as we are all of a sudden only 3 minutes and a bit away from the end of the race.
Got the Automatic Knock Hill BMWs just behind them as well. Viveka and Mias, one with the blue on the right and one with the blue on the left.
I just noticed it, that they are reversed, so good job.
Quite good, doesn't that? Especially when they're running just in front of each other. That'll be the publicity shot sorted for these guys later on, I'm sure. It's a really nice livery though. I do like that a lot. Really good colours. Looks really good on the BMW actually as well. And kept very clean by Roy Viveka and Ben Mears. Viveka started in 16th place, Mears in 17th place. So started together, and it looks like they're going to finish together, which is always good. Biggest movers out there, Steve Klaes, Chris Moretta, Koba Klaas, Jochen Lennartz and Dries Moosdi, with 6 positions gained. So good stuff by them. In a race where really there's not been many casualties of by way of crashing, only Van Boel, Macaulay, Rodriguez, Woodburn, and then Rolf Just and Nick Shermans, and then not sure who car 371 is. I think it's Thijs Berger, isn't it?
371 is Luke Thijs.
Oh, Luke Thijs. Yeah. Oh, Berger's still in the race. 23rd position. And this is getting pretty close now. Koba Klaas trying to just get within striking distance of Steven de Wolf. But yeah, it's tough when you're in these trains, isn't it, though, really? Because, you know, the car in front's getting a bit of slipstream, Eberer is getting a bit of slipstream off Moretta, De Wolf's getting some off Eberer, so Klaas can't really do anything at the back, really. And they're all a little bit spread apart. Not spread apart, so you know what I mean, there's half a second between each of them. Nobody's on anybody's tail as such. As Van Genekten comes through to start what will be the final lap. The white flag will be in the air, Marco.
Exactly, white flag in the air, and this will be the final lap of, I'd say, dominant performance by Jaap Van Genekten, because he has been in control since the first corner, never in doubt. He had always clean track in front of him. He was able to pull away from his opponents, and that was, of course, the key to his victory, as he has only, I think, a few kilometers left to run before having a chance to finally celebrate what is absolutely a very well-deserved victory.
Yeah, he made actually quite a bad start, did Van Genekten. He almost lost the lead into turn 1, but he did. But after the first few corners, he really did sort of... Oh, Ben Mears is off. Just as we were saying how well they were doing, he must have heard it on the stream, because he's straight away gone into the grass. Looks like he's got all sorts of trouble there as well. What on earth has happened to Ben Mears? And here we're looking at Daniel Macaulay, who's having another incident. Oh dear. So last week's winner, well, that is from that's not so glorious for him, Marco. I don't think that's a bit of an ignominious end to proceedings. Oh dear, Ben Mears, very nearly ended up having the same ending as Macaulay. Dear me. But here is EF Van Genekten. It's been a tremendous drive here by the Mercedes man for Atomic Motorsport, coming through the final corner, and he will take round 6 of the Dynamics Sim Racers World GT Series. It's his 5th win of the season, and that's well deserved.
Very, very well deserved, as we have still some battles left on the track. This is one of them. Moretta, Eberer, De Wolf and Klaes.
And by the way, it means that Stuart Musselwhite has won the bronze class, because the rest have been lapped.
Exactly. Nice spot there. Absolutely. And yeah, we are waiting for the leaders in the silver class. Here we go with Andrew Opley, bringing his BMW 225 towards the start-finish line, and that would be, of course, a very, very sweet victory.
He's done a great job considering the, shall we say, the state of the car after he hit Arturo Alvarez earlier on. But Andrew Hopley comes across the line, and he wins the silver category. Congratulations to him. Arturo Alvarez does finish in 2nd place. Wonder if there'll be any words exchanged over that one. Stuart Musselwhite then into the last sector of the lap, Marco, and he he really, you know, took this one by sound strategy. Good strategy, good pit stop. Well, very good pit stop indeed, and that's giving him the win.
Yes, final corners for him, and celebration in the Sim Racers World team, because he, of course, as you can notice by the bright orange and black livery, is one of their drivers, and he well deserved the victory.
Welcome back to BSR Radical Thursday Race 3 here on Apex Racing TV. Lee Thompson again, Alex Simpson. Timing looked like that worked out beautifully, Alex. We saw the end of the race of the Sim Racers World GT Series. Congratulations to the podium finishers over there. Just in time for the guys to grid here for race 3.
Yep, perfect timing. And talking of grid, there it is.
Alan McCain did take that pole position, as we say. So Alan McCain on first, Kane Halliburton then race favourite, you got to say, in second. Dan Webster and Sven Glatzel, though, third and fourth. Sure, this is a strong top two rows, isn't it? Halliburton, Webster, Glatzel. Luke Cooper in fifth. Foggy just behind Glatzel in sixth. Jamie Mayers in seventh. Paul Crabb eighth. Sam Fitzpatrick ninth. Richard Warmingham 10th. Fraser Williamson 11th. James McRitchie in 12th. Anthony Jacobson 13th, Steve Hefford in 14th, Craig Williams in 15th, Eamon McCauley 16th, Kip Stevens in 17th, and in 18th. No, wait, we're missing one in this race. Somebody let the side down. Revs are up straight away. So Alan McCain then, pole position. Halliburton is going to have inside line for turn 1. Does McCain cover off the inside? He doesn't. Halliburton's got the position almost before they get to the braking zone. Webster's looking very close in third. McCain, though, braking late, trying to hold on. Do you know what? Didn't give that position just to Halliburton at all. Big twitch, but he's trying to keep it together. Good on McCain there. Still got the front position. Halliburton right behind. Glatzel gets Webster on the exit of turn 2. Webster coming back with the slipstream. Here comes Halliburton up the inside for turn 4. It's going to look close 2x2 as a top 4 turn in. Glatzel trying to get that position of McCain as well. McCain's going to get hung out to dry a little bit. Down to 4th, down to 5th. It's about to be from Webster. Halliburton, Glatzel, Foggy all of a sudden up to 3rd, Webster 4th. Pole sitter is now in 5th position.
Good clean start. Though,
McCain, what are you doing? Oh, okay. I thought McCain completely missed his braking point there, but got the position temporarily on Webster. Got a nice position done. He's going to have the inside still now for turn 10. Can Webster hang around the outside? Yeah, he's trying.
Well, actually, now I think Webster has got the high ground now, but McCain will get the better run on the final corner.
So. He runs a little bit too wide, a little bit early. Webster, though, hang on inside.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, McCain, good effort. Eventually have to give that a spot. Going to have a slipstream now, then, but all this battling has meant they've disappeared off the top 3, and so this is 2 groups of cars already. Halliburton, McCain, losing 2 spots now actually to Crabb as well. Crabb going for Webster on the inside. McCain tries to follow him through, doesn't quite. So Crabb, then Webster, then McCain for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Halliburton, Glatzel, Foggy for 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Foggy on Glatzel, Alex, as they come out of turn 2. There we go. So Foggy on the inside, Glatzel on the outside. Foggy super late in the race. Can he get it stopped? He can. Tiny bit wide, but carries the momentum absolutely fine. Foggy up into 2nd.
Kane's loving the fact that he's got a car that's handling and actually has some straight line speed this time. Trying to edge away. And I think this is what we wanted to see at the race number 1, wasn't it? These 3. We didn't have Sven in that mix. So, yeah, it's on. We're going to enjoy watching this one. But this pack doesn't seem to want to separate apart as well. Look at that. What a shot.
The entire rest of the field minus Anthony Jacobson, who's just a fraction off the back even. So, everyone down from 4th position back. Oh, big twitch there for Cooper or Fitzpatrick. Cooper, I think it is. And Carr going to the inside as well. Optimistic into what is essentially the final corner there. Doesn't get the position. But yeah, Cooper lucky not to end up in the wall or even on the grass through there. But he's got a decent run now on Williams as they head to front straight. Goes into the pits. So, interesting. Issue for Cooper as an inscription. We'll perhaps find out later on what that was. Yeah, perhaps.
We didn't quite see.
McCain in 6th position still. So top 3 broken away, as we said, thanks to that hard battling between McCain and Webster a lap earlier. 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th just breaking away ever so slightly from 8th back now. Fitzpatrick at the back of this second group in 7th. McCain takes a whole clump of curb and some more at turn 4. He's going to struggle now from Fitzpatrick, I think. Not quite close enough as Fitzpatrick to challenge into turn 6. Ooh, Williamson and Hefford side by side. Hefford trying to come back round the outside. Williamson on the inside. Hefford all squirrely on the brakes, locks up the rears. Going to lose a position perhaps to McRitchie as well. Not quite. Swaps himself in between those Craig setup shot cars. And they're still battling away there. Warmingham now involved in that as well. So Warmingham, then Mayers. Mayers just tucking in behind. Oh, spin up ahead. That's McCain. Lighten up rears, sort of Vettel style, trying to get it turned back round after spinning. We shall perhaps see a replay of that a little bit. I guess it was a bit too much inside curb, and that pirouetted him around. So, start of lap
at the front. They're exchanging fastest laps there as well.
Yeah, only guys in the 27s are Foggy and Glatzel. Halliburton 200ths off of getting into the 27s as well. Here's a McCain issue. Is it on entry or is it on apex? He already lost it on turning. So he was way up on the curb on entry, like he was a racing line, but just had the rear step away from him as he turned in. So unfortunate for McCain, he is now last of the kind of clean runners, if you like. Here's Macaulay and Stevens. Kip Stevens we saw running pretty well last race until he ended up in the wall towards the end. Macaulay defending already now as they come to turn 8. But comes across, takes his racing line. Kip Stevens takes advantage, tries to go up the inside. Macaulay gives him the space. Stevens should have good apex speed to come back at him, but not quite does go for that move in the end. Macaulay a little bit more cautious on the brakes, still trying to hang on the inside there. But Stevens now should have the high ground for the next hairpin turn 10. And he does. Position is made. Kip Stevens up into 12th. Back up the front. Still looking pretty even Stevens between Halliburton and Foggy. Glatzel just a second off the back of Foggy. So he's had maybe just a slightly tougher lap. Let's have a look at those lap times this time by 27.95, 27.96. A whole 100th of a second difference between Halliburton and Foggy that time by. And then, yeah, just 2 tenths slower that time for Glatzel. Foggy locking up into turn 1 as well, I think. So, yeah, he was pushing hard. Gained quite a bit on the entry. But, yeah, down to 4 tenths now at the front. Oh, spin for Jamie Mears down in 14th. Was that contact with another car? It looks like there could be a bit of damage on there. Steve Hefford, it looks like. So Steve Hefford going up the inside, I think, of Jamie Mears into turn 1. Actually, teammate behind. So Mears was just super cautious on the braking with Hefford up the inside there. And understandably, I think his teammate had nowhere to go.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. Well, I do get it. It's a tricky corner. Sometimes the rear does get particularly twitchy going into that corner. So, and you get a slight lock, yeah.
And something mentioned last week as well, could be a bit of single screen sort of symptom as well, with maybe not quite knowing whether Hefford got it stopped or whether he was going to push out wide as well, maybe. But yeah, unfortunate for those guys. Fitzpatrick, 6th, just behind in 7th is Williams, with Warmingham looking pretty comfortable in that 8th position, looking to challenge Williams ahead. Let's have our regular check-in on lap times for the top guys. Halliburton this time, 27.98. Foggy just a tenth quicker, 29.86. So not too bad. So we've had in those 2 laps 27.95, 27.96, and 27.98. Of the sort of 3 of the 4 lap times there. That is about as consistent as you could ever hope to be. Foggy though closing all of a sudden down to 2 tenths. It was 4 tenths last time by, and so yeah, Foggy looking confident now, taking a little bit more of that curb on entry into turn 4, a bit more exit curb as well as they came off. Here we are on board with Foggy with a view of Halliburton's rear wing as they take it into turn 6, super quick entry, and a little bit of camber just allows you to carry that speed through. Clamber up all over the curbs, all through his infield really. They're pretty forgiving, these F1 old sort of classic F1 style curbs. You can see them barely hanging onto the white line of the track on entry and exit. No curb on the inside of that one for either of them. A little bit of a twitch for Foggy under power. Tricky corner this one. It's you should be kind of flat. The rear wants to get away from you. Look how far off track Halliburton is. Foggy just about gathers it back up. I was just going to say how far off Halliburton was off track, and we can see how that affected Foggy. Sorry, it was the curb that seemed to unsettle the car as he came off it, and that's allowed Glatzel to nick that second position.
Yeah, I think you've either got to be all or, very around the outside. Then Foggy trying to instantly react, little twitch. Tyres are still a little bit cooked from that, and he's massively sliding that. So, yeah, he wanted to instantly react, but just had no grip underneath him. We know what the tyres are like when you have a little moment. They just get superheated, and they're pretty slick for a good half a lap. And, yeah, Foggy found that out right there.
Yeah, I feel like that's an angry Nicole Foggy underneath that helmet. Well, that's pixelized helmet there, and yeah, he was reining a Halliburton there. Looked like he had a good opportunity on the next lap maybe to make a move. So that's a shame just to brave out. That leaves Halliburton 3 seconds down the road of Glatzel, then Foggy, Webster then in 4th, Crab in 5th, Fitzpatrick 6th, and this battle here we're seeing between Fitzpatrick, Williams and Warmingham for 6th, 7th, 8th, Hefferton in 9th with Ian Hawley rounding out the top 10. Little lock up in the background there for Warmingham as well, as Williams gets right under the gearbox under braking of Fitzpatrick. So Williams is looking pretty confident at the minute. Again, we can see the super aggressive outside line that they take using all of the curb on entry, and again we can see the different sort of extremities of the two cars of how much they were going to use. You're saying about how perhaps people sacrifice an off-track here and there to go super wide to try and really sort of take advantage of the system, but no such times happening that time by. Williams good on the brakes into turn 1. Fitzpatrick just has to slot into 7th position. Warmingham still looking pretty confident as well, trying to close on the back of Fitzpatrick now.
We haven't seen
Glatzel only 2 cents ahead of Foggy. So Foggy trying to come straight back at Glatzel now on this next lap. Glatzel going to have to defend slightly, I think. Here we go, into turn 6. But Foggy looking super aggressive, getting right into the back of Glatzel. Is he going to try and have a dive into turn 6? He doesn't. Glatzel covers off the space. But yeah, that's Foggy is looking like he wants to get that second position as quickly as he can, as you said.
Foggy in the XVR car. And I was about to say, actually, just before, we haven't really seen the kind of pace from race 2 from Richard Warmingham. He was so quick in the last round, but he's struggling to get through. Only up 2 places in this one. So I don't know if he got involved in something at the start of the race that we haven't quite seen, maybe damaged his car ever so slightly, but I would have thought he'd have been much higher up at this point. So
yeah, we've not really seen maybe as big a movements in grid positions as we do sometimes in this race. Williams has gained 9 in 6th position, and Kip Stevens has gained 7 in 10th. But otherwise, it's a bit more kind of regular, if you like, through the rest of the field. McCain just saw losing a spot to McCauley, 14th to 15th. As we look at the track map, this field is a lot more spread out in race 3 compared to race 2. That is quite a difference that we saw. We saw pretty much the whole field.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we saw the whole field in shot pretty much in race 2. So it just shows a couple of little incidents, and it can just really break the field apart.
Just to confirm, drivers in blue against drivers in green. We have effectively your Pro v AM drivers, but I think that's probably changed somewhat from the start of the season, and maybe needs to maybe needs to be restructured. Certainly will if we revisit. But of course, the BSR Radicals, for those that may be tuning in and don't know, is just a winter series. This is the usual regular spot for the BSR TC, so the touring car. We've seen the Pro Series in that for the last few seasons. So that's a year-long season that goes on, and while we're watching this battle. Foggy getting ever closer. Foggy, one of the drivers competing in that last year, had a run and an opportunity to win that series right up until the very final meeting. Very, very quick, and that was in the Kia Optima. Sounds like a dull, boring car, but actually when you bang 60 of them on a circuit, it becomes very, very interesting indeed. The series has been on Motors TV and Jinx Esports TV, to name a few. And yeah, I'd have no doubts that this is a fantastic battle, that we're going to have a great championship. These guys were teammates. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They were in opposing teams. Jeez, I almost got that wrong. But yeah, they had many a good racing in that one as well. And yeah, there was a you know middle-aged you know commentator in that series as well that was also battling. Don't know who
Foggy running off track there through turn 4, still side by side against Glatzel. Foggy's got the high ground now into turn 6. Glatzel trying to carry the momentum, can't quite keep the overlap. He's going to try for a cutback now into turn 8. He does, dives up the inside, all over the inside curb. Both keep it under control. Foggy keeps his nose in well, trying to continue this switchback theme that we have through the infield, like Alex was saying to us earlier on. Glatzel, of course, now is going to have the inside, but Foggy, can he hang in there? This is the corner, you need to keep it. Just about can. And now Foggy should have a decent chance of coming out on top. Glatzel got a little bit more overlap though, but Foggy comes back on braking. Can he get it stopped? Okay, he can. Finally gets the overlap.
Well, he's a sitting duck here though.
Now Glatzel has got the toe all the way up the hill. He's very close though, so he saw he had to move out the slipstream super early.
That is why I love Interlagos, that racing right there. We've had basically a whole lap side by side there. Fantastic. It's still going on now. We were basically set up for round number 2 right now.
Glatzel on the outside this time, Foggy on the inside. Foggy all over that inside curb. Glatzel still holding it off. Switchbacks again, allowing them to keep running side by side, almost up to a whole lap now, all practically side by side the whole time. Still anybody's position, still side by side. Foggy on the inside. Webster now we see coming into shot in the background as these two are slowing each other up, battling away, still not giving it up. Glatzel running a little bit wide. Foggy got the momentum now. I think he's got the drive off the corner, and Glatzel's going to struggle to come back to him now into turn 6.
Still there.
Still trying. Oh, it's so close. Oh. Foggy very, very aware. Gave him a little bit more space on entry. Glatzel coming back. This is a whole lap now, side by side, if we ignore just a few seconds down the front straight. Wow, Foggy finally gets the overlap, gets that position. That's got to be one of his hardest overtakes, or certainly the longest overtakes he's had to make in his iRacing career. But it's for a second position. I'd be disappointed it's not for a first, maybe after his error earlier on.
Fantastic driving, both drivers there. Lots of respect given. That was as close and hard racing as you could possibly get out there. I mean, it cost him about, yeah, absolutely fair. It cost him about 3 seconds to our leader. He's 6.5 seconds up the road now. And Webster is back on there waiting to see if they're going to go at it again. One more lap like that, and he's back in the mix and got a chance for second place. Here comes Glatzel to the outside. It hasn't quite got enough of an overlap. Little lock-up for Foggy. Doesn't seem to affect him too much. Using some of the curbs. Car gets a little bit upset. But good drive off, and he's safe for the minute, but only a 1/10 of a second. Feels the need to go defensive and does, right to the white line.
Glatzel's back alongside on the outside for turn 4. Can't keep it in that position. Is he going to try for a little bit of a cutback? Got a decent drive off the corner, but it's not going to be enough into turn 6. So Foggy defends hard, keeps that position for now. Like I say, using so much of that curve through turn 1 and 2. We can see how much the car was bouncing around, but he somehow kept it under control, under traction. Webster now is making this a 3-car battle. These two guys are just slowing each other up. Kip Stevens 10th position, Richard Warmingham 9th, just a 10.5 between them. That's the only other battle we have on track right now.
Webster can run some quick lap times as well, so they're not going to scamper away of any more battling, and I feel like Glatzel's still in a position to get a run, although lost a little bit of time there, and yeah, he's just going to use the slipstream to catch back up, I think, this lap. Not going to get side by side, so...
Yeah, he got a pretty good exit, so he started gaining a little bit even before the slipstream started to take effect. So we'll see him on his gearbox, I think, but as you say, not in a position to make a move.
There's a couple of other little things going on the circuit, but nothing quite as close as this. So we'll stay with this battle for the podium right now.
And already we're nearing the end of the race. Only a minute and a half or so remaining. So it'll be this lap and one more. As you say, leader off in the distance, 6 seconds down the road. That's worked out very nicely so far for Kane Halliburton. Epic battle for second between Foggy and Glatzel, with Webster maybe in fourth, just rubbing his hands slightly at the opportunity maybe for an incident between these two, and that allowing a second position to fall into his lap. Paul Crabb then in fifth, Craig Williams in sixth, Sam Fitzpatrick seventh, Hefford in eighth, Warmingham ninth, and Kip Stevens rounding out the top 10, still just a couple of tenths behind Warmingham.
Richie having a little accident out there. Let's see exactly what happened. You had to jump back to the pits as well, so where was it? Oh, yeah, that can happen.
Yeah,
inside curb.
Yeah, it looks a little bit oversteery almost on turning as well, so whether he was just struggling with that all the way through the corner, and as you say, it finally gave up on him at the end. Glatzel 10th closer this time as they come out of that final corner. It's 5.5 tenths last time, 4.5 tenths this time, and he's closing already. Glatzel going to be in a much stronger position this time, I think, to try and claw his way alongside. Is it going to be enough? Foggy certainly feels it. Kidd defends the inside. Glatzel dives to the outside at the last moment. Foggy, very tight line on entry. Can he keep the apex speed? Webster in the background locking slightly as well. Foggy all under control nicely. Glatzel just a couple of tenths behind, but a little bit wide through turn 3.
Yeah, absolutely. He got great exit, did Foggy there, considering the tight line that he had to take going in. Glatzel having a little look. He would literally have to send it from there. Going to go through. Decides better off. And yeah, 3 tenths. So he's going to have to get an absolute monster infield section. Needs to be about 3 tenths coming off.
Craig Williams, I think it was, running very, very wide through turn 4 and 5. Doesn't look like he's lost a position, but he's just 3 tenths behind Paul Crabb.
We'll look at our leader as he crosses the line. Sorry, Kane, you need to slow down and be involved in this if you want to be on camera. But oh, good, a fantastic corner there from Foggy. 6 tenths. He has done what he needs to do, I'm sure. At that, to come off the final corner, yeah, very clear. Oh, it goes a little wide. That can kind of kill your momentum. But Kane Halliburton then having a little bit of a celebratory weave down the straight, and yeah, congrats to great race. A few different winners tonight. That's what we like to see. Foggy comes across in second. This looks close though, between Crabb and Fitzpatrick. Oh, they read each other. I think Sam is just going to get it, yeah. Oh.
More contact over the line as well. Fitzpatrick grabs that at the last gasp. Can Stevens do the same? Doesn't look like he's quite got the same overlap on speed. Warmingham hangs on to that by just a few hundredths of a second.
Definitely sensing Warmingham must have had something go on that race just to slow him down. He just quite have it. So, yeah, driver's doing some donuts. She managed to get them out. I tried to do some donuts in the Formula 3 last night. That thing is impossible to donut.
Oh, weird. Strange.
I was like, come on! Dropping the clutch, it just grips even with like absolutely cooked tyres. I look like a rifle.
Bad workman. Right, so results for race 3 then are going to be coming up momentarily once the guys finish having their little celebratory donuts. It's a bit of a novelty for these guys being able to do donuts in forward gear rather than in reverse gear like they tend to do in the Kias. Right, so here we go then. Kane Halliburton, as we saw, took the win. As soon as Foggy had that little bit of an issue, what was it, 2 or 3 laps from the start, then Halliburton had a pretty easy time of it, especially then with Foggy and Glatzel battling away super hard for second and third. Foggy taking that second from Glatzel in the third. They finished just a second ahead in the end of Dan Webster in fourth, with Craig Williams in fifth. Sam Fitzpatrick in sixth, with Paul Crabb in seventh. Steve Hefford eighth, with Richard Warmingham in ninth. Kip Stevens in 10th. Jamie Mayers in 11th. Eamon McCauley in 12th, with Anthony Jacobson in 13th. Luke Cooper finished 14th, last of the runners. James McRitchie then, Alan McCain and Fraser Williamson finishing 2 laps or more down each. So race 2 was obviously the highlight of the night. Race 3, Foggy and Glatzel put up a good show for us. It's Interlagos, as you said, Alex. It's such a circuit that invites that great close racing.
Yeah, exactly. I've enjoyed every race tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving home from work, as you know, Lee, trying to get back here in time. Absolutely shattered. Could barely keep my eyes open, but I was like, no, can't stop. Can't get coffee. And I have to say, I'm wide awake after watching those three thoroughly thrilling 3 races. There you go. That was hard for me to say.
So yeah,
got a couple of interviews coming up, I think. Sam Fitzpatrick. I don't know who Glump is. Who's Glump? If you want an interview, do change your name. Let us know who you are. But we will we'll bring Sam in. Sorry, Leah, though. Before that, I did cut you off. Sorry.
No, I had nothing very exciting to say. So great to see Sam back in the box again for another interview. Looked like a pretty solid night for you, Sam. A little bit in the wars at times. It looked like you had a little bit of netcode luck on your side in race 2, especially, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not quite sure with all that context, to be honest, because there was so much close racing. But like I always say, aim for 3 top 10s, and I think I got 3 top 6s in the end today. So I think probably my best evening of the season, and was great fun. I was just talking to Nicole, and just the racing round here was absolutely superb. I think this has set the bar very high, and I think not finally, but I think the drivers are certainly kind of getting the hang of the car now, including myself.
Yeah, it's a very good point. We've been singing the praises of the circuit and how it can really invite close racing through the infield, especially with all the switchback corners. But as you say, to be fair, very, very few poor decisions with the battling as well. So, we saw lots of hard, clean racing out there. And certainly you're amongst it as well. Felt, a little less cautious from you maybe this week. We saw maybe a little bit more aggression into turn 1 once or twice, I think. Was that perception fair? Or were you your normal cautious self?
Yeah, I think I was maybe a little bit more aggressive. I think particularly in that race 2, there was a few cars which were maybe a little bit slower than I was. So I've kind of felt the need to, be a little bit more bold, try to make the moves. And that turn 1 on race 2, I think it was me, Kane, and Nicole, all 3 wide. I think going through turn 1, so that was a little bit hairy as well. But yeah, I was taking maybe a couple more risks, but I was still trying to, keep it quite clever. Like in that last race, I let past Craig and Richard, or basically didn't fight them too hard, just to not lose too much time. Just thought about the points, and I finished all 3 races again, so that's what counts.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's been obviously working well for you through the season so far. We need to see how the points are going to end up shaking out with drop weeks taken into account and things, but certainly it's been looking super, super close between yourself and Foggy at the front of the standings. And we've seen Foggy maybe not get the ultimate results that he had available to him today with a couple of incidents here and there. So should put you in strong position for the next round, which I had looked up earlier on, and I've now already forgotten where we are next week.
Yeah, I can't even remember myself, to be honest. But I'll answer your first question with Nicole. He's much faster than me, and undoubtedly, I'm fully aware of that. And every race he can win all 3 races, and sometimes he just drops a couple of points. I think he's now probably ahead of me with the drop weeks. But as long as I'm within 50 odd points at Bathurst, no drop rounds at that race. So I just need to rely on him having a couple more incidents, to be honest. But I'll just stick at it and keep on trying to get top 10s, and then maybe he'll make a mistake or something. But him and Kane as well, he's still very much in the championship. Those two are certainly the favourites going into the last 2 rounds.
And so Sebring is next week before we go to Bathurst. Completely different style of circuit. Not one of my ultimate favourites. How's your feelings on it?
Yeah, I've not got a great record at Sebring. I think I've drove one of my worst ever races in a Sim Racers for Asia race. So not my best circuit, I think, but I'll maybe put in a little bit more practice just to get up to speed. And it's a legendary circuit, and I think the racing around there will be quite good. The slipstream effects will be prominent, but not absolutely dominating, which is quite a good balance, I think. And yeah, should be good fun there. And hopefully we see a few more trials. Of course, you mentioned earlier on how it's the 14th today, so maybe that's the reason. But hopefully we get back above 20 entries once again.
Yeah, absolutely. So we look forward to seeing you challenging again for those top 10 positions next week, Sam. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, so sounds like then it's Nicole Foggy with the nickname in Discord. So Alex will bring him up and we'll speak to our podium finisher. Hello, we are presuming this is Nicole Foggy. Is that correct, sir?
Hi, yeah, it's Nicole. I assume my name is still the other one.
Yeah, I'm afraid so, but that's all good. So, decent results for you tonight then, Nicole, but ultimately, you know, a little bit more was in your grasp. It looked like certainly race 3 there. Disappointing not to be able to continue to challenge Kane for that win in race 3.
Yeah, well, we were. So I in race 1, I managed to get ahead. That unlucky bit with Kane making contact with Sven, and then yeah, we talked afterwards, and he was saying how difficult it was driving in the dirty air, and I thought it was pretty bad on this track already, and then in that race there, when I was behind him, I saw just how bad it was. It was so difficult to try in certain corners, the understeer, just trying to keep the speed and keep close was really difficult. The closer you got, the more difficult it was. So I ended up pushing pretty hard. I can't remember. I think I lost the rear or something at some point. I can't remember exactly what happened. But it all got made up for by that battle with Sven. Had a great battle with Sven. That's really what I wanted to come in and say. I was expecting one of us to muck it up at some point, but it was clean and fair. And yeah, it's battles like that I want more than anything else when I'm racing.
Yeah, as you say, that was a cracking, not only sheer battle in race 3, but also good example of good, clean, hard, fair racing. Good racing ethic from both of you. Gave each other space, and as a result, yeah, we saw an entire lap minus a tiny bit of a straight that you were both side by side and eventually managed to come out on top. So great job. Still, obviously, well and truly in the hunt for the overall championship here, Nicole. Sebring next week. How do you rate that on your strengths of circuits?
Well, I really like Sebring. I think with this car, like if you go over a curb in this car, I think it's got so much torque that the wheels just immediately spin up, and the suspension's so stiff, they just, as soon as it comes off the ground, just a little bit spins up, and when you go back down, you got no grip, the wheels are spinning, and you just go. So Sebring's a bumpy track, and I don't know what it's going to be like. Could be really dodgy, or it could be really fun. I mean, this car is such a fun car to drive anyway, but we'll see what happens at Sebring with those bumps, how it can handle these bumps with a fixed setup.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, I think the fixed setup is going to be a big part of that, isn't it? It'll be interesting to see whether the cars can even really get through the last corner at speed, but we shall no doubt find that out next week. So, yeah, congratulations on your race results again, Nicole. If you want to give a quick shout out to sponsors, etc., then feel free now.
Yeah, just thanks to XVR, and thanks to Mortal as well, and thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast.
Not a problem. Thank you very much for putting on a cracking show. We've pretty much, I think, watched yourself and Sven all of race 3 there, so that was good to see. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you next week at Sebring.
Thanks, man. I'll see you later.
Right, so that is going to be wrapping up our coverage at Interlagos. Sebring next week, it's going to be a very different proposition. I think we're going to see quite a field spread next week as well between the top 3, 4, 5 guys in the series, as they can really somehow drive around the big issues I think they're going to have around that circuit, and everyone else just sort of hangs on for dear life. We're obviously coming to the climax of the season now as well, so it's going to be really interesting to see how these top 5 guys are going to cope with the pressure of the climax of the season.
Oh, I think so. I mean, yeah, interesting track next week. I mean, I personally love Sebring. I think it's a great circuit. The bumps aside, it just got so much character. So I think that'll make an interesting race. Maybe this car will be a bit tricky, a bit of a handful in it. So that'll be an interesting one. See how that's going to go. That's for sure. But yeah, you're right. Coming to the business end of the season now. So yeah, yeah, interesting. Have to keep a bit of a closer eye on the points and see how it's all going to pan out. Because yeah, it's look, if the championship can make the racing even more exciting than what it is now, because the racing's pretty damn good right now. But throw in the fact that there's a championship on the line, that is going to make it all the more interesting in the closing few races.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone's going to want to make sure they don't miss a broadcast next week. So again, remember to subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. Remember, we're going to be live streaming, as we have done tonight, simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So jump onto whichever platform is your favorite, and we shall be here again 8:10 for Thursday night BSR Radicals from Sebring. Good night.